The second decade of the internet was all about e-commerce. It was all about reaching new customers. It was all about establishing your business on the internet. And every company and every nation out there ran in a race to adopt those new technologies. They completely digitized their business. They built their presence online, and they expanded their revenues through this new era, which is the second decade of the internet. The third decade of the internet, which is from the 2005 to 2015, was all about the social transformation that has taken place. It was all about the proliferation and penetration of mobile technologies, the increased bandwidth of broadband networks, which subsequently linked very directly to the growth of GDPs. 10% expansion in the broadband capacity of a nation can immediately impact the GDP in 2 to 3% growth annually. Where we know there are nations that are struggling to get a 1% growth in GDP. So not only we talk about technology because we love technology, I do personally, but we talk about technology because of the outcome that technology delivers. Now somebody might say, okay, what is the next decade about? And this is what I'm here to talk to you about. The next decade is about digitizing countries, cities, businesses, families and homes, and individuals. We call this era the Internet of Things or the Internet of Everything. Now let me differentiate and define the two. The Internet of Things is the connections and the network between devices, things, and entities that are inanimate. The Internet of Everything is the connectivity between billions of people and things, data, and the processes that link them together. And this is where you start gaining the value behind the Internet of Everything. It's about linking the inanimate things in our life, our cars, our bicycles, the traffic lights, the roads, the parking lots, and so on and so forth, to the Internet. And applying the applications and the services so that data could be transformed into outcome. And this is what we call the information age. The reason we call it the information age is because information becomes the most important commodity in life. The fastest growing region in the mobile adoption and mobile penetration. In the UAE, we have 220% penetration of mobile services. And the fastest in the world in adoption of smart services. So these are all elements that we should be proud of. And these are all elements that we can monetize and capitalize on. If you come from a government entity, this is your opportunity to deliver better services to the citizens and the residents of your nation. This is your opportunity to improve education and healthcare. This is your opportunity to defend your nation and provide a better, safe community in your country. If you come from the private world, this is your opportunity to compete. This is your opportunity to grow faster than your competitors. This is your opportunity to monetize the information and the data that you have. So the information age is going to help us analyze the tremendous amount of data that we have witnessed being built on the internet over the last 30 years. And there's no shortage of it. There's zettabytes and zettabytes of data. Now, when bits become data, it's easy for us to understand, but it's incomprehensible for us to see. So we call data dark data. We cannot see it. It means nothing to us. Now, when you take that data and turn it into files, into documents, into information, it becomes visible to us. It starts being more meaningful. But that's not enough, because there's no way we, as humans, could actually go and process and crunch all of that information momentarily and spontaneously. So what we need is knowledge. We need to extract knowledge out of information. That process is called analytics. And that's going to be one of the most important elements of transforming your business. Whether you come from a government department or you come from the business world, analytics is going to be key to transforming everything we do. It's not enough just to digitize. It's not enough just to throw millions of dollars at technologies and devices. You have to build the analytics platform for your business, for your services. Now, somebody might argue, when you automate the decision-making process out of knowledge, and you build the analytics as part of the business strategy and the technology strategy, you start gaining wisdom. Wisdom in making the right decisions against your competitors. Wisdom in making the right informed decisions to deliver better services, to digitize a nation, to transform your society. And it's wisdom about protecting the environment. And somebody might argue that when you do that, you actually reach enlightenment, but we'll leave that for another discussion. Analytics is the key for us to really bring that dark data into the light, to really start extrapolating value out of it. Now, of course, digitizing and embarking onto this era doesn't come without its challenges. So the first challenge, which is why we're all here today, is to talk about the transformation that the city is going through and what is being done. The first challenge is most of the cities around the world are legacy cities. They have been built, some of them, for thousands of years, and they have expanded in the last few years and grown, but there's no basic infrastructure. The city is not built in a smart way. So how do you take a legacy city and transform it into a smart city? Now, this is where our job comes. We, as a community of technologists, along with everybody else here, we have to come and work together as a team. Because there's no company out there, there's no single company out there that has the answer to all questions and have the solutions to all problems. So this is a nice challenge to have because it brings us as a community together to deliver value to the cities we live in. Now, why are we doing this in cities? Because in the past, nations used to compete with each other. The GDPs of nations have become meaningless. The future is about competing between cities, and we've just witnessed a few of those episodes of competition. The most recent one is the competition that we had with 3 or 4 other major cities here in Dubai to win the Expo 2020 event. That is cities competing with cities. The future is going to be more and more about cities competing with each other and about cities differentiating, attracting new businesses, offering a better quality of life, having accident-free roads, and ultimately delivering better for their citizens and residents and visitors. And this is where information comes into play, and this is where digitization differentiates cities. Now, the other challenge is going to be the social norm. When are we going to move away from moving around from one kiosk to the next and from one desk to the next to get our processes done? When are we going to put the government and the private businesses at the fingertips of their users? Well, I can tell you when. In 2 years from now, 80% of government services in Dubai have to be available at the fingertips of the citizens and residents of Dubai. Fantastic vision by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. And every city should follow through on these trends and on these visions because they will accelerate the growth and they will improve the quality of life. Regulatory norms are essential. As we start digitizing, we have to address the laws, the regulations, the processes within a city, within a nation, to be able to leverage and use technology and to be able to regulate it in a way that is safe. We've all seen so many drones flying around our neighborhoods, at the beach, and in the parks. Now imagine if there are thousands of these drones around the city, unregulated. I'd be afraid to walk in the city because one of them might collapse and fall on my head. We have to regulate everything, and we have to build the laws and processes that would put together the framework for digitization in a city. And more importantly, which is the top of mind for everybody, is what happens to security. So as I digitize my home, as I digitize my business, as I start integrating technology into the business side of my environment, so if I am in the oil and gas industry and all of a sudden my oil rigs are all connected and the valves and the pipes and the production network is all connected to the network, what happens if somebody hacks into this? Or if you choose to transform your door lock at your front door at home into a smart door, where with a scan of your eye or a touch of your finger, you could unlock the door. Now that door lock is connected to the network, so what if somebody hacks into it while you're on vacation? Or somebody might say, I'm driving a smart car and it's connected. What if somebody hacks into it and all of a sudden accelerates or decelerates or slams on the brakes? So there are security concerns in every aspect as we digitize. But this is a problem that comes along with a solution. Nothing is for free. So the best approach is to make sure that we align the security strategy to our technology strategy. And we build the architecture to help us protect our data and make sure we continue to offer the citizens and the visitors of this nation the privacy that they aspire to have. And education and reskilling, which is an important thing, which has been discussed at length in the past, it's about making sure the skills that are needed for the next era of the internet are there. Because guess what? If you're a government entity or if you're a private business and you're not embarking on this digitization process, you will be left behind. The only way you can thrive and survive is to digitize. Now, somebody might argue this, and I'm more than happy to have a debate, but let me share with you globally some of the examples of where companies who did not adopt did not thrive and survive. Let's start with the bookstore industry. Amazon transformed that 10 years ago. Guess what? Is there any business in bookstore industry anymore? You see most of them going out of business. The big major brands are going out of business. We digitized the bookstore industry, and then obviously Amazon expanded in more things. How we digitized the video and audio industry. Nobody goes to the stores and buys CDs anymore, and if they do today, in the future, they will not. Digitizing that industry transformed it and disrupted it severely. Talking about transportation, all of us have experienced Uber here or in other countries as we travel, or Lyft, or more of the likes of Uber and Lyft. And somebody might say, oh, they are a taxi service. I disagree, they are not a taxi service. They are a technology company. And somebody might say, the social norms of communicating and using infrastructure has been transformed through the cloud offerings and the online offerings of Google and Facebook. And we'll see more of these social interactions. The photography industry has been completely turned upside down. Initially, through the transformation and the move to digital photography, Kodak went out of business. For those of us who remember the 35mm camera, our children have no idea what that means. Digital photography completely shifted and transformed that industry. And then, in addition to this, in the recent decade, digital photography through mobile devices completely turned the digital photography business upside down again. The auto industry, Tesla Motors and the other electric cars manufacturers, a new entrance into that service, hundreds of years, a little over 100 years of experience, completely transformed and disrupted by the new norm. And somebody might argue, Tesla is a car manufacturer. Yes, but it's a technology company as well. And their biggest differentiation is in innovation and the experience of the driver of their car. Square in point of sale, Airbnb in hotel and hospitality. Complete transformation and disruption to industries through digitization. And that's my appeal to you. If you don't digitize, you will not thrive, you will not survive as an organization. Now let's bring that back to the relevance to Dubai, where October 2013, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum set out on a vision for the city. And that vision is to transform the city into the most connected and smartest cities in the world. Now somebody might argue that that's going to be a challenge. I will argue otherwise. I'll argue that we will achieve that vision. I actually will argue that Dubai, in many ways, is one of the smartest cities in the world. We only have the busiest airport in the world. We only have the most direct flights into any other major cities in the world. We only have the smartest airport in the world. We only have the longest driverless metro in the world, the smartest toll gates in the world. We have one of the most advanced mobile and broadband infrastructure thanks to our partners Du and Etisalat. We have a tremendous thing that is already established in the city. The future is going to be about digitizing further. And I couldn't ask for better leadership. And I'm very privileged to be operating in this country where the leadership talks about technology. Not only about the use of technology, but actually pushing the boundaries of technology, about innovating. And this is where we like to be challenged because we are an innovative company. And we like to face these challenges and help the nation achieve its vision. Now, what is Dubai doing about this and how are we going about it? I'll share with you a very simple approach to how the government has really formulated the Smart Dubai project, which is only the start of a journey. And it's going to be an iterative process that will have to take place over the years to come. It's not a 3-year project, it's a journey. We start that journey with a defined timeline and defined set of things that we have to do. And the story here is 1, 3, and 1,000. There's only one objective to deliver for all of us together. Government leaders, business leaders, systems integrators, technologists, thought leaders. One goal to achieve. His Highness wants people to be happy. The citizens of this nation, the residents of this nation, and the visitors of this nation. Now, somebody might argue, oh, this is simple, but yet very profound. Because a better quality of life makes people happy. Better education and healthcare makes people happy. Less traffic on the roads makes people happy. A kinder and gentler taxi driver makes people happy. Cleaner air makes people happy. A lower cost of living makes people happy, and all of the above. So it's a tremendously profound vision. 1, we want people to be happy in this city. 2, number 3, which is we have to start this initiative and deliver on certain deliverables and milestones within 3 years, starting October 2013. 1,000. There has been a definition among numerous government departments of 1,000 use cases that will be implemented in order for us to start the journey of digitizing Dubai and turning it into one of the most connected, smartest, and happiest cities in the world. 1,000 use cases. So we have a visionary leadership. We are seeing a holistic approach. We're seeing the adoption of global open standards. I cannot discuss how many visits we've made around the world with government officials, with private companies, to see what is being done around this world. And there are great learnings that we will take advantage of. But one thing I have to say, nobody has done this before. There is no other city around the world who has done it in the shape and form that Dubai is going to do it. So these are the key requirements, and this is the roadmap, which is very clear and very prescriptive. Now, we took a glimpse of the value. So obviously, we're not going to go and do this and not justify things as we do them within the city without a proper study. So obviously, it's very difficult for us to look at 1,000 use cases and do an economic analysis of the impact of those 1,000 use cases. So we discussed with the government and we picked 17. We took 17 use cases out of 1,000. And we said between now and 2019, we will assess the economic value and economic impact, incremental, by the way. This is not shuffling of budgets from here to there or buying from one pocket to the other. This is incremental economic impact and value to the city of Dubai in 17 use cases alone. By 2019, that economic value is going to be 18 billion dirhams, $5 billion in 5 years. Now imagine what 1,000 use cases may mean for the city. And for those of you who probably are confused about a use case, think of it as a smart solution. So smart parking is a use case. Smart airports, smart transportation, smart lighting, better response to emergency services, smart grid, and all of the above. 1,000 of those use cases defined. Imagine the economic, social, and environmental impact to the city. Now, the verticals that we've been looking at mainly focus on municipality services. So, you are starting to see the revealing of connected parks around the city. And we're starting to see Wi-Fi being deployed across the city by the service providers of this nation, but to serve the community in the municipality operated areas such as parks and public areas. Transportation becomes big. And transportation is not just about the smart taxi and the smart bus. It's also about managing the traffic, the public traffic, in a better way. Somebody might argue having an accident-free city, which in fact can be a reality. But it can only be a reality through digitization. And somebody might ask, how is that? Well, imagine if a car is connected to the road and the road is connected to the traffic light and the traffic light is communicating with the car. And when the traffic light and the car are communicating with each other, something doesn't jive if the car is driving at 60 kilometers an hour into an intersection when the traffic light is red. And if that is happening and the car is connected, and we detect one of those mobile devices crossing the intersection, guess what should happen? A decision should be made automatically to slam on the brakes of that car, thus preventing a deadly accident. So that reality is possible. And this is the reality that we want to achieve because we want to differentiate. We want to be the best in this city, in this nation. Public safety and security. We are enjoying one of the safest cities in the world. We have to make it safer. We have to make a response rate to emergency, whether it's fire or accident or injuries, much faster. Now, these metrics are already defined and set. We have to be able to defend the nation better, connect our armed forces and our national defense infrastructure. We have to be able to be even more efficient. DEWA has done a fantastic job being recognized the #1 in efficiency in delivering power and water. The least amount of wastage in any utilities company in the world is actually here in Dubai. And it's through this infrastructure and this digitization that has taken place, which will get even better and better. The introduction of solar power, the introduction of solar cars and charging stations, these are all use cases that are being discussed and trialed within the city. Travel of tourism, the top 3 tourist destinations in the world is this place here. We have built a fantastic environment for people to come and enjoy their holidays. And it's not just the leisure tourism, it's also the business tourism that come to events like this from all around the region or all around the world. How do we make their experience a lot more fulfilling, a lot more enriching through digitization? And ultimately, the big industry of retail and services. How do we digitize that and how do we transform it so we can sell more and make the experience better and more enjoyable? So these are some of the key verticals that will drive Dubai's Smart City initiative. Now, the possibilities from there are limitless. There's so many things that all of us could think of that will bring tremendous value, and I'm sure all of you have great ideas, and we would love to hear them, and we would love to partner with you in delivering that value to the city. But we have to innovate, because His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed told us in the government summit, there are 4 priorities for this nation: education, healthcare, safety and security, and innovation. We have to innovate. Yes, we can adopt what's been done elsewhere. Yes, we can be the importer of technologies and solutions and products, but if we don't innovate, we'll always be following. We will not disrupt and we will not transform. we will always be the laggards behind others. We have to innovate, and we have to invest in innovation. And these innovations are going to be in the form of the key focus areas of this nation, in healthcare and education, in technology and systems, in software and implementation of software and application developments, in transforming government services and citizen services, in introducing augmented reality across multiple verticals, whether it's in the public sector or the private sector. Now, somebody might argue also that there are certain things that we see today that we will not see in the future. And some of these things may be similar to the fax machine, for those of you who may be thinking of 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Glasses, anybody? Forget about the smart glasses. Our children and grandchildren will probably give away their glasses and their books to the digital form of contact lenses that will adjust to your eyesight automatically. It's about the printers that we see today that will not exist in the future. It's about so many of the technologies that we have today. So it's our ability to read and predict what technology will look like and what services it will offer and value it will bring in the future, so that we devise the strategies of today for the roadmap of technology of the future. And for this, you need people who are really understanding the technology in a very, very smart way. It's about people who can link the IT and OT together. It's about people who can introduce and consolidate and converge your infrastructure in a way that is meaningful to your business. Again, whether your business is citizen services or your business is in the private sector. So it's all of the above, and it's our ability to build a smart city in a smart way, because there's many ways of building a smart city. You could throw hundreds of millions of dollars at it and do it and still achieve the outcome, or you could throw a lot less and do it in a much more intelligent and a much more comprehensive way, an integrated way. So the key here is to deliver a seamless and integrated approach to building smart Dubai. Now, how else would we measure this? Again, I said there was one objective and one objective alone. We have to digitize the businesses, government and private. We have to digitize ourselves as families and individuals. And we have to digitize the things around us. And that's why we're here in this forum talking about the Internet of Things, the Internet of Everything. And ultimately, what we aspire to do is build one of the most connected, smartest, and happiest cities in the world. I hope you enjoyed this speech, and I'm more than happy to take questions now or afterwards or have further conversations. Thank you very much.
Rabih, thanks very much indeed. Fascinating insights as ever.